saddens me that I have to do this. I'm throwing this up real quick just because I have people still trying to argue about this. There are people who are flat out insisting, almost to the point of insultingly, that there is in fact a Dragon Ball reboot coming out in 2012. There are several problems with this. Number one, um, nothing has been announced in any actual news source. Any. Um, Number two, the only places you can really find anything on this are like IMDb or places that cite IMDb, and IMDb has had like fake pages for movies pop up in the past. And I know everyone likes to think, oh, you have to work in Hollywood to be able to post it. And not true. Actually, in order to edit IMDb, all you need is an IMDb Pro account. It's kind of stupid, which is why it's actually not a very reliable source. It's like a Wikipedia you have to pay to edit, but there you go. Um, but yeah, and I've heard all sorts of logic thrown at me, like how they don't have to announce they canceled the old one and they're starting a new one because they don't always do that. In fact, they rarely do. It's like, right, that's why we, heard about the announcement of a Spider-Man reboot, a Superman reboot, a Hulk reboot, so on and so forth. Whew. Anyway, I mean, they do announce these things. Second of all, it's been less than 2 years after the first film was an utter failure. First thing they're going to do is take time to recover from the loss they suffered there. I mean, they put out money in advertising, they put out money in merchandise, which hardly anyone bought. They put out money in, all sorts of stuff there. And none of it sold too well. The most money they made out of any of it was theatrical release. They didn't even make back, counting what they've spent elsewhere, everything they spent on that movie. It was a flop. Plain and simple. It was not worth their money. So if they even consider a reboot, they're going to have to take time to put some feelers out there and see if there really is interest in a Dragon Ball film. Because there are some people who, say, they could have done one and they should do one better. Other people say they should just leave it alone completely. They'd want to see how many, what percentage of them say what. All of us here still do maintain that they could, in fact, do a good Dragon Ball live-action adaptation if they actually tried. It's actually not that hard. It's pretty much written out right for you. Bringing it to life's, not exactly a walk in the park, but it's not some sort of impossible task either. Just takes some ingenuity. I mean, look at what some people can do with fan films, for God's sakes. And friggin' Adobe video editors and Sony Vegas and crap. I mean, come on. You can't tell me that they couldn't do something remote, Oh, yeah, imagination, you can do anything, really. But, that's beside the point. The point is, they're going to be putting out feelers. They're going to be putting out, people looking at the market to see whether or not it's plausible to do one. It may or may not be. We may never get one, sadly. So, But seriously, less than 2 years after that movie came out, and they've supposedly already announced a reboot. In fact, this reboot page has been up since last year. So, it'd be like only a little over a year and a half after that first movie flopped, they somehow finally pulled down the quote-unquote real page for the second film that went bye-bye. And then, throw this one up. I mean, seriously, I talked about this once. I don't know why I have to do it again, but here we go. I find it funny, I really do. Then you've got here frankly is a dead giveaway. Earlier when they had this page up, they had all these people listed. They had all kinds of problems, so people could tell it was fake, and here's why. It's supposed to be a reboot, yet they've got they had James Wong listed as the director first. Then they scrapped it and actually put down as director Akira Toriyama. Yeah. They had Justin Chatwin. They had Emmy Rossum. They had all the old cast back, including James Marsters as Piccolo, and then someone else as Piccolo too. So there were two Piccolos listed as being on the cast. There was James Marsters, who's Piccolo, then another guy who's Piccolo rumored. Wow. Then you had Chatwin playing Goku again, even though he was one of the biggest complaints anyone had about that film. And then you had a little Asian boy playing young Goku for flashbacks. You know what? I don't care what race you think he should be. Be consistent at the very. I mean, I'd really love to know how a little Asian boy grows up to be a, you know, white guy. At least get the guy to look right, for crying out loud. If you're gonna have a young version, make the old version look like that. Or if you have the old version first, make the young version look. It's not hard. But yeah, it was pretty darn easy to see that this was fake. They were having characters come back that never existed in the series, only in the first movie. So what's happened since then, though, is they cleared all that. All of a sudden, these people are popping up, and it's important to look at this page closely because now they're doing a lot better job of covering the tracks. But you can still tell here's why. When you look at the keywords for what it's categorized under, how to locate it, it's classed under, of all things, reboot, but it's spelled R-E space B-O-O-T. So it's reboot. 2 words. And also based on manga. I'm sorry, that's not usually a category you find. It's usually if it's an actual official movie page put up by people working on the movie, you'd think they'd be a bit more professional. Another one is the fact that it's untitled Dragon Ball reboot slated to come out for a worldwide theatrical release in 2012, even though it's 2011 and they haven't even started apparently casting or anything. They've apparently just found writers and a director. Now, director is very important to look at because frankly, the guy that they pulled out, he's popped up on a lot of people's quote-unquote dream list for who to direct the movie, even though, frankly, I don't see why. I mean, the guy's got, like, some experience doing some, like, anime-related stuff, some adaptations, I think a couple of small ones. And because of this, apparently, he's got all the cred he needs to be able to do a full-scale Hollywood production. I'm really not seeing that happening. I mean, it's just a little too convenient. The people who are showing up on everyone's, giant gaping dream list started showing up in the quote-unquote new cast for the old movie too. Um, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's gone. So, all this stuff. But this is the single biggest clue that this is a fake. Look at the production company. The company that is making this movie, supposedly, is not the company that owns the film rights. The film rights, like it or not, for now at least, are still the property of 20th Century Fox. They're supposed to expire for a while, but there have been no other offers put in for it. So chances are they'll be out there floating around again if anyone wants to bid on them, but that time has not yet come. Wouldn't do any good to purchase the movie rights from Fox because it's due to expire, so they'd have to go directly to folks in Japan again to do it. I mean, buying their license away from them, all that'd do is buy them like however little time they have left, so they'd have to renew it anyways. Let's see here, what else? Yeah, Paramount. Paramount has clearly expressed interest in the series in that they are owned by Viacom, who also owns Nickelodeon, who owns Nicktoons, who is airing Dragon Ball Z Kai. But that doesn't exactly mean that they're interested in making a film on it, seeing as it's a fairly new series that just came out. I mean, look at, for the sake of reference, look at, Avatar: The Last Airbender. That series was out for how long? Had to show signs of huge popularity for them to finally say, okay, let's try to make a movie. I don't think that Kai, even though it's, doing very well on Nicktoons, is going to be enough for Viacom to go to Paramount and say, hey, we have a show that's doing really good, let's make a movie. It hasn't even been on there a full year yet. We're not even halfway through the series yet. So, calm down with that one. But seriously, for Paramount to be trying to make a movie based on a series that they don't own the film rights to, um, yeah, that's a pretty big clue that it's fake. That's really all I can say. I don't know why people think we're not keeping an eye out. I still do. I still check from time to time. If I did see anything official, I would tell you guys. I'm not just sitting here doing whatever, twiddling my thumbs. I am looking. There's just nothing to report on. If there's anything to report on, I will let you guys know. That I was entrusted to do this. I'm not gonna let anybody down. So yeah. Anyways, that's it for now. Um, frankly, frankly, at the moment we're kind of operating on no news is good news. So, I mean, seriously, frankly, on the slimmest, tiniest, thinnest chance that somehow someone's screwing up, but this really is happening. But they're just screwing up the IMDb page, and I do mean slimmest as in almost not there, like 0.001% chance it's happening. If it did happen, based on how they appear to be trying to rush it, they'd screw it up again anyways. So, we'd wind up with some sort of sloppy, messy, you know, film all over again. So, anyways, again, that's it for now. I'm heading off to bed. I will let you guys know if anything comes up. See ya.